Obviously, first question, we're all going to be wondering about your future. Anything new on that front yet?
Nothing new. We just finished. So at some point, we'll get with ownership here and sit down and talk, and then also all the normal stuff that we say. Going to weigh a few of the options and just give this thing some deep thought now as I go through this process.
All right. I want to ask you about Kyle. For you, when you're discussing like the option of bringing him back or not, how much is his age a factor at this point, or is it at all?
Man, with that guy, there's it's not a factor actually in many ways. Like I lived at the JW Marriott and saw him every night or every morning work out, and it's incredible what he does to keep his game going. Kyle is focused. That's 100%, and so I think there are many things that are going to weigh into this decision and how we evaluate the team going forward. But when you think of players' ages and contract terms and all of that, you really dig into that, But Kyle is part of us, and we see him a certain way, and that's an open discussion for us.
I'm not asking for names, of course, but is there and this is going to kind of put you on the spot, is there a better fit right now for your team in the free agent market than Kyle Lowry?
It just depends on what we're doing, right? When we evaluate this, we're evaluating in many ways. One of the ways where we've looked at is giving the young guys, even more opportunity and, building the future rather than now. Yeah, we have to look at the organization that way. If you remember, I spoke like that a lot when I took the job here. We have to build. I know we won a championship, and last year we were considered a team that was close and a contender. But we're at a place too where we have to look at the young players we have and maybe lift them up a little bit, and that's kind of one of the options we will continue to examine as we look at the team. So I understand your question when you say, is there a better player out there? It's hard to find a better player than Kyle. Now, even in this environment, he's been incredible to us, and his value is even more to us than an outside free agent in more ways. But when we look at it the other way, you can look at how do you start to build again, like to get to the level that we got to.
All right. Appreciate it. I'm sure you got a bunch more questions here. Thanks, Masai. Have a good day.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, right. Mike.
Next question is going to go to Doug Smith from the Toronto Star.
Masai, how are you, sir?
Dougie, what's going on?
Not much. Long time no see. Still there? I lost you for a second.
Tell me, I'm here. I think okay. I'm here.
That's good. Hey, given the weirdness of this year, the relocation, the losing, the shortened schedule, can you get a good assessment of your players? Last year, you said you needed to find them how they dealt with adversity. Can you get a good read on your guys having come through this year?
It's been a tough year. I'll tell you guys, I'll be straight up and upfront. When I look at everything that has gone on this year, I put them in two different buckets. Maybe what we've all gone through in our lives, human beings everywhere, all around the world. It's been really mentally draining. It's been challenging. There are people that have lost loved ones from this. It's been very difficult, mentally, especially being confined. We all see what we're going through in Toronto now. I'm back in Toronto. It's a challenge. Then I take that part, and then I go to the other bucket, and my other bucket is the NBA and sports, and that's the job I do. That's the the workplace that I'm involved with, and we have to work at this time. We have been incredibly disadvantaged from all of this. The displacement has really did not work well against us. But I give from the top ownership, everybody from our coaching staff, players, they were incredible during this process. They tried to persevere as much as they could through adversity. Our medical team, they were incredible for us. The front office, even scout, everything, we tried to come together. In this environment, which is the NBA, we were number 30 in terms of what we went through. We had an outbreak on our team. We had a rough start. That's on us. That's on me. Maybe because of our roster and some maybe we can call misfits as we started the season. But we did climb up to being fourth in the East. I think sometime in mid-February or end of February or something. And we climbed back out of that, and then we got hit again. We had a 1 in 13 month. And that was tough, Doug, to be honest. That really, we were playing teams that I know that, games that were winnable games and we could win. But these guys, they were walking in mud. They were running in mud and their bodies and everything that they were going through, it was really, really tough. So it's been difficult to evaluate, but one of the things I think we're able to do, especially with Coach Nurse, is see the different things that we could work with on our team, evaluate players maybe even individually, and then style of play and some of the things we want to do. You saw us doing different things at different times. Our young guys, how did we get them to grow as much as we could? It's a tough year to evaluate because I would say we put ourselves in all kinds of positions in this league with what you deal with in sports to make the best decisions and to evaluate as well as you can. This was a tough situation because none of us have gone through this before. And our case was even worse than the 29 other teams. We're not looking for excuses here. We know the work that we have to do going forward and how we need to get back on our feet. It's a great challenge for us going forward. But to your question, it has been very difficult to evaluate. What was that 1 in 13 months? I can't. I wish I could tell you exactly. What that was after we had climbed to fourth in the East. Well, we had an outbreak. And then after that, how do you evaluate your team? We saw some good things when we got a couple more bigs and how the young guys started kind of gelling together a little bit. We're excited about that and building from that.
Have you gotten in your conversations with the federal government any kind of assurance that you'll be able to play in Toronto in October?
We haven't yet, but honestly, we are very determined to, and we want to come back and play here. I don't want to speak selfishly because I know what other people, other businesses, other workplaces are going through, and our immediate need is everybody get vaccinated, or as much as people want to get vaccinated is what we want. We know where we lack there. I think the government knows what they need to do. We want to play 100%. We have no interest in going to play anywhere else. Tampa was unbelievable to us. They were great to us. But like Freddie said, Tampa is not Toronto. And our franchise was built and was brought to play in Toronto, regardless of what the situation is. So I am saying to them that they should consider that, and all sports teams, because we feel we are one of the safest environments that we can work with. We saw the bubble. We've seen this. We've operated, I think, at a very, very high standard and high level. And I think we make people happy. In sports makes people happy generally, and keeps people entertained in many ways. And so I feel strongly about begging them or asking them, like to include us in the plans to come back here and play.
Thanks very much, Masai. Enjoy your time back home. We'll see you soon, I hope.
Thank you. Thanks, Doug.
Next question goes to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hey, Masai. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, Grange. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. When you talk about you guys being disadvantaged, I mean, some of that is just, the nature of being a team in Canada in a North American-based sport. So what can the league do to address some of those issues going forward? And did they do anything? I mean, financially, did they kind of help with some of the costs that you guys had to take on? Do you guys feel like you got the support you needed from the NBA?
I think we got the basic support we needed, but I think it's difficult sometimes, like for the league to always include us, in everything, because we are the one team that's based outside the US, and I'm sure sometimes it's a pain in the ass for them. But guess what? That's the business you've put yourself in. You've put yourself on a global platform that you have one team in the NBA that's outside the United States. And we have to be considered in every single way. And there are difficult decisions that have to be made, like based on this. And Adam Silver has been very considerate. The league has been very considerate on all levels, whether it's the basketball operations or even Amy Brooks and the marketing group. They've all been, I think they have really treated us with respect, and maybe in some cases, sometimes sympathy here. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, honestly, Grange. I don't want to call out anybody here, but there's a lot of work that we need to address. And to be honest, me being back here, there's going to be a lot of things that I have to address with ownership in terms of some of those things that we need to really address with Toronto.
Just to interpret there, like you need ownership to be more aggressive in terms of advocating within the league, in terms of consideration and a level playing field? Yes.
And honestly, Larry Tannenbaum has been incredible. Like he's the chairman of the board. He pushes for us as much. We're not like the NHL. There's 6 teams in the NHL, I think, that play in Canada. We're just not like them. It's just one team. And that becomes challenging. Putting us on television becomes challenging. Everything that you want to consider, becomes challenging. Lots of complicated issues. But we need to grow in our minds. We need to be visionaries. We need to think big, like in this league, on how we consider these things. Like we are trying to make the game really big and global, which I think the NBA is doing an incredible job of. But there are many issues that we have to, I think, address in terms of us.
Thank you, Masai.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Josh Lewenberg from TSN.
Hey, Masai, nice to see you.
What's up, Josh?
Not much, man. I have a couple timeline questions. So in terms of your contract situation, how quickly do you want to come to some sort of resolution there? Is there a sense of urgency to get that taken care of before the draft and free agency and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'll see. These things are sometimes tough. They take time. We're in a very unpredictable environment, which makes things very, very tough. But honestly, like Larry's been great to me. I know that we'll have those conversations, and at the same time, I know that all the options I'm trying to weigh, both family, everything that I'm thinking of, direction of what I want to do, I think it will work out however the timing plays out to be.
And then in terms of where you guys are going to start next season, do you know if there's any kind of deadline for getting that answer? Will you guys have the option to take it down to the wire again like you did last year if it comes down to it? Or do you know if there needs to be some sort of a resolution there earlier in the offseason?
First of all, I think that there's when I talked about issues, like as a team that plays outside the U.S., we have our issues too that we have to deal with, and we all know like what some of these issues are. So the situation we're in Toronto now, I'm hoping that we're seeing it, and we're hoping that it gets resolved, hopefully soon. And all over Canada, people continue to get vaccinated, and then we go from there. I respect the health officials. I respect the government. Yeah, there have been mistakes made, but as leaders, it's on to the next. How do you continue to solve these problems and solve them well with good time? I don't want to be selfish on the sports part, and as an MBA worker or executive, I don't want to be selfish, and push our agenda before other people. But yes, timing matters, and we would like to be considered because we do not want, I repeat, we do not want to play anywhere else but Toronto.
Great. Thanks a lot, Masai. Enjoy the offseason. Take care.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Eric Kareen from The Athletic.
Hey, Masai. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. You mentioned your family and when you, as a important consideration, when you do sit down and talk with Larry and the board, what are your priorities? What are you looking for in terms of what you do from going forward?
Everybody says, like blank check, but yeah, I'm not as much, like focused on blank check, other than a lot of the things that we've done here. We have to move forward as a franchise to compete with the best in the NBA. This is all about winning a championship again. Yeah. Let me tell you something, guys. Everybody has forgotten what has happened here 2 years ago. Okay, yes, we won. Nobody cares anymore. Okay, we want to win another one. That's what you want to do. Yeah, you want to prepare yourself to win another one. Not playing the playing game, not playing the playoffs. You want to win a championship. Everybody's like, why won't you get in the plane? Playing for what? We want to win a championship here. And we have to put ourselves in position. So a lot of the things that we did, whether it's build a practice facility, whether it's get everybody to see us hosting an all-star game like we did, or getting a G League team, or I got an incredible staff that they've allowed me to hire here, from front office to coaches to medical. I want to know, we have Drake, ambassador, that has been incredible to us, has lifted us. Yeah, so what's the next lift? Yeah, what's the next 5 years? What's the next 10 years? What are we doing to put ourselves in conversation with all the great teams and all the winners? That's what we want to do. And that's the conversation I'm going to have with them. And yes, I'm going to have asks. I'm going to have a lot of things that I think, that we need to put forward here to address these things. And I think ownership is open, to hear this. So in terms of that conversation, yeah, that's going to be had. In terms of me and my family, listen, I have a lot of interest in this world, but I'm not naive to not to understand that sports is an incredible platform. My position is an incredible platform, that to talk about a lot of the things I want to do, a lot of the things that I'm interested in, and we'll go from there. So there are a lot of options, that I have to consider. But yes, to your question, there are a lot of things that we're going to really talk about here moving forward, and how we make this organization even bigger.
Are you still there, Eric? All right, going to move on next to Scott Stinson from the National Post.
I can't hear.
Scott, we can't hear you.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now, Masai?
Yes, I can hear you now, Scott.
When you talk about being incredibly disadvantaged playing in Tampa, do you regret looking back, not maybe trying to push a little harder, trying to have the team come back under some sort of health and safety protocols that might have been worked out? I mean, I know hindsight's a difficult thing, but did you realize maybe that it would be as difficult being down there for as long as you were?
To be honest, Scott, it wasn't an option. Zero. There was no option of that. No matter, we pushed it to the last possible way that we could push it onto the last day. Yeah, that you ask me, you know, like sometimes I'll say, you know, like, was there wiggle room or could we have done it like a certain way? There was zero chance that was going to happen.
Right. The other thing, if the season had been different, if you had been back in Toronto, do you think you might have had more contract discussions by this point, or was it always likely to come down to a thing where you reached, you know, essentially free agency and had discussions about your future then?
No, I made the decision, and I informed them that I was going to wait till the end of my contract.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Tim Bontemps from ESPN.
Hello, Masai. How are you?
Tim, what's going on?
Not much, sir. You certainly seem impassioned about these conversations you're going to have with the ownership group. Is it safe to say that the answers you get from that are going to largely inform what your decision is going to be?
Yes. Again, you know, I hate to talk about options, you know, like, but I'm just in a point in my life, you know, like where I have 3 children now, and I have to look at everything completely. And but in terms of Toronto, yes, this is going to be important, and important with in any other any of the other options or any of the other things that I'd be looking at.
And what kind of time frame for you personally are you going to put on determining what you're going to do, given obviously it is a busy off season always in the NBA, and there's timelines figuring out what you're going to do and what's next for everybody?
Well, I know I'm heading to Africa in a couple of days here. that I know, and I'm looking forward to watching the Ball League and seeing my folks, you know. But yeah, I honestly, with these things, I don't know. We will discuss, you know, with ownership, and now the season is done, you know, like those discussions will start at some point.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to circle back to Eric Corrine real quick.
Sorry about that, Masai. My internet went out. Just repeat what you said. No, I'm joking.
I can.
No, I might have heard it all the way from wherever you were saying it. In terms of this past season, you mentioned how the bad start might have been on the front office and on you. Is there anything you wish you acted on more quickly?
No, not really. You know, after we played in the bubble, one of the things we talked about was how small, you know, like we played at the end there, you know, like, and the success we had with playing small, you know, like, so I think on my part, I failed to see, you know, that what we were looking for, that maybe the type of bigs, you know, like we were looking for should have maybe like been a different type of player, and that's on me. But in terms of recovering, you know, the displacement, the hard start, you know, I don't want to blame that too much because basketball is basketball. I did put them in a tough position, and I take ownership of that.
Sounds good. Thanks, Masai.
Thank you.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
All right, in the interest of time, I'm going to cut it down to one question, and we'll try and get through as many people as we can. First one goes to Stephen Lung from Sportsnet.
Hi, Masai. It's good to see you.
How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. You just mentioned you said play in for what? Does that mean that you didn't have you never really wanted to push for the play in tournament at all? And is that the reason why like Kyle perhaps only played like 9 of the last game, like only 9 games like after the trade deadline?
No, it's not really. You have to weigh your options, right? And why the place with our team, is what's a better place to be? It's things that we have to look at as a front office. Do we play our young guys, develop them, use the experience of Fred and Kyle and these guys to help them grow a little bit and give yourself a better chance to get a higher pick, because obviously these young guys are going to play against better teams or better competition, and they're not going to win a lot of these games. What's the value of that, picking in the top 10 versus picking further out if you played in a playing game? I have to weigh that, sometimes people don't want to talk about it, because that word, nobody wants to use. Yeah, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as this was a 1-year situation where we were faced with lots of challenges and moments where we had to adjust on the fly, and that's not easy to do, and is it the right thing to do to adjust on the fly? I don't know that we could have come with a plan, we came with a plan from day one, but we had to be able to adjust, were some of our adjustments the right adjustments? We tried, and I know the players tried and everybody tried. So, we just have to weigh the options of which option sometimes is better than the other.
Thank you, Masai, and enjoy your summer.
Thanks, Steve.
Going to circle back to Michael Grange real quick.
So I don't know how close you follow these things, but the people in your organization all were saying really important things about you the last few days. I think Nick Nurse was talking about the teamwork, the partnership he developed with you, and Fred said you were the number 2 most important Raptor behind Kyle, and Kyle obviously said some very kind words the other day also about the culture and how you've helped him grow and everything that's been done here. Said you're the top executive in the game. So when you hear the people you work with and go to battle with now for years talk to you about that, how do you react? What do you think of what you built?
It's hard for me because these guys are incredible for me. To hear them say that, yeah, I honestly sometimes don't know what to say. Our players, the coaches, the staff, they're incredible for me. I go to battle every day with those guys, every single day. I love them like they're my family.
Thank you.
All right, next question is going to go to Kevin Lewis from WFTS in Tampa.
Thanks for doing this. Hope you're well. You're a young guy still, but when you write your memoir or your maybe autobiography in a few years, what about this Tampa experience on the heels of the bubble experience are going to stick out to you, might jump out as things you got to write down right away?
The Tampa experience was remarkable. When we talk about adversity, it's just the displacement and how you have to react to things, and that reaction gets you to do things sometimes not at a high level. Let's talk about displacement. This is not Dadaab. This is not a refugee camp in Kenya or in Syria or in any of these places. This is where we had our practice facility in a hotel. We almost built the same thing. We basically built OVO. The people in Tampa were incredible. There's no hospitality or no welcome that we're going to get that's better than this. In fact, I say when you look at some of these experiences that we have, it's afterwards that it's most even impactful for us. And when I look at the bubble, we all complain about the bubble and the confinement, how it was there. The bubble was amazing. It was that experience there. I'd do it again, like to be part of that. It was incredible for me. Yeah. So this Tampa, as we got on and as we got through the whole experience, we enjoyed it. We started to enjoy it. We started to feel it, and it's the things that happen to you the first time, or you don't know how to adjust, or you don't know which way to go, or that's the part that's tough. And then relating it to home, and then relating it to what others are doing and the disadvantages. I'll give you an example. Coming to a game and seeing everybody support another team, that's never been done in Toronto. I don't care who's coming into Toronto. I can care less what team it is. When you come here, you feel it. Everybody has seen it. Everybody knows, so when you go to a game there and people come to support other teams, I know it's not a basketball town, but it's hard to understand. Yeah. So, I would talk about that experience as a great experience for a long time in that sense, of welcoming, and it's definitely not displacement that many people have experienced all over the world.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Akiko from the Kyoto News in Japan.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I'd like to ask you about Yuta Watanabe. And what was the reason for converting Yuta's contract to standard contract when you could have waited to the end of the season?
I think Utah was very, very, first of all, what a pleasant surprise for us. It's been a bright spot for us for the season. Incredible kid and a basketball player with such great upside. He brings such passion to the game, and sometimes these things need to be rewarded. The timing of these things are important for us, so a player feels part of the team, and we wanted Utah to feel part of us, relax a little bit, and not be too anxious, and he deserved it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Hey, Masai. You touched a little bit earlier that your contract situation isn't going to come down to money necessarily. When you look around the league, what are the things that you're hoping for in terms of commitment to success? Is it paying into the luxury tax and things like that? Or is it like facilities and structures? What are those things that you're hoping to get?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. I think our ownership is strong with I remember coming in here, and when I took the job here, they told me if I wanted to go into luxury tax at any point in time, they would do it. We have to do our jobs to figure out when the right places and time is to do all those things. I don't want to put out all the things that we want to do here and how we want to do them, because I think it'll be putting our business out there. But yeah, there are many things that we want to do to get ourselves even further ahead, to think different. Luxury tax is not one of them, to be honest. Our ownership has been pretty clear with us that whenever we put ourselves in a position to win and get players, they'll do those things, I think, to give us that chance.
Thanks, Masai.
Thank you.
3 more questions for you, Masai. First one goes to William Liu from Yahoo Sports Canada.
Hello, Masai.
Hey, William, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. When you look at this upcoming draft, you obviously have the highest pick you guys have in quite some time, depending on how the lottery shakes out. And then you have 2 extra picks in the second round. How much are you looking at this specific draft as an opportunity to add talent? And is there anything specifically that might have impacted your scouting process, obviously with, COVID going around and everything like that?
Yeah, I just had to send a couple guys to Australia to quarantine for for a couple weeks over there, which is unbelievable. But yeah, we're going to do everything. I think I love our scouting group and how they look at talent and how they evaluate it. This is the period now, and we have to push ourselves to all limits here, while trying to keep everybody also safe, which is very important for us. In terms of talent, we're going to study the draft. We have been studying it all year. We're going to continue to study it and see, it's either going to be the most talented player available or it's going to be the best fit for us. And we'll continue to evaluate that as we push along the next couple months.
All right. Thank you, Masai.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Vivek Jacob from Complex Canada.
Hey, Masai. You've said that you want this organization to be one that is always on top of where the league is going, doesn't want to be reacting. The way offensive efficiency has gone up the last few years, has that impacted your view at all on how to build a team, like looking ahead to the draft and free agency?
Yes, we consider everything, on our team, and that those are the conversations that we have with Nick Nurse and Bobby. I think Nick is one of the most innovative, evolving coaches in the league, and I know I'm biased to my coach, but to our coach, but I think he's shown that he is, willing and to try anything. Listen, this is a copycat league. And we're not trying to be copycats, like that's you form on your own and you go into it. You try things and you go into it. You might fail, you might succeed, but you keep trying. The goal is to win. We play this sport to win, to compete and to win. And I think our organization is going to do everything, to put us in position there to win.
Thank you, Masai. Have a safe flight to Africa.
Thank you.
Final question today is going to go to Amy from NBA TV Canada.
Good morning, Masai. I know you just spoke about the draft, but I wanted to know if you could share a little bit about the philosophy of you of your team on evaluating the potential of a guy, what a player could turn out to be. And in particular, this year, you look at Chris Boucher and you look at Paul Watson Jr. and you look at even an Alize Johnson, floated around other organizations, and then they get to Toronto and things just go much different, better for them. How do you guys evaluate that?
Hi, Amy. If I told you that, I'd be giving away like all our secrets. I don't know if I can tell you that one. I'll tell you this: we're still trying to figure it out. We're really still trying to figure out like what we can, how we can get better with this. Projecting is the hardest thing in this sport. I think if it was something that was set, everybody would be. We would have all these incredible players, right? It's such a difficult thing to do. I give our guys a lot of credit because they grind and find and yeah, we're going to win some and we're going to lose some. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of what our guys are. We have to be an organization that has to build that way in some kind of way, and that's what we're talking about when we say. Pascal, OG, Fred are homegrown, and we have to raise them and not cry about free agent doesn't want to come here, or we don't want to do this, or we can't run and hide under the table. We have to build our own. So we've taken pride in the draft. but there are many things we have to do to get better too, and things that we're trying to think about to be visionaries in this league, to see further ahead in this league. Some of these things, every team has their little secrets here and there, and we'll continue to have ours.
That's fair. Just keep doing it. Have a safe travel. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any parting words, Masai?
No, thank you. Thank you to everybody. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry I got that way, with talking about our guys, but I love these guys to death. I love this organization, and the battle we would have every time is it's incredible for me, and I'd be honestly willing to do that anytime in my life with these guys. They are completely awesome.